that whole idea of like, your junk isn't necessarily my junk. Help me out. That was a really bad phrase.
Your trash is treasure to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much better than your junk is not.
Your junk is not my junk.
My junk is your junk.
This junk is my junk. This junk is your junk. No, wait, that's my junk. No, wait, that's your junk.
And
Sorry.
that's how the episode opens.
Yep, there it is. There's the
Cut
opener.
that terrible laugh.
Let's just cue that as the intro.
Yep, that's it.
And scene.
Hello, friends. My name is David White, and you're listening to the Mistconceptions podcast.
Such a relief. So nice to have him back. I'm glad that Sal helped me negotiate that hostage situation. It's just nice to have things back in order and just relax. Not have anything looming over my shoulder except for these charges. They're always there. People are always looking, but at least for now I can breathe. Yeah.
Previously on Mistconceptions, Bill was reunited with his family for the first time in over a year. Bill was reunited with his family, and the way that it came about was Ren had promised Bill to use his super future computer to help Bill find his family. The super future computer populated a list of ways into the underworld, and it gave him one lead: Sal's silk shop. So Bill and the rest of the crew went to Sal's silk shop, and Bill signed a deal to receive the souls of his wife and son from the underworld in return for his two mythos abilities: his ability to ride on clouds and his ability to make weapons out of his tattoos. And so Sal took these two aspects of him and kept them in the underworld, returning Bill's wife and son to him. But now, Bill has become a sleeper. He is unaware of the mist or the mythical nature of the city. He still remembers things that he has done with the crew, but they are skewed and warped. He does not remember the mythical side of that. Along with Bill being reunited with his family, Esther ran afoul of her nemesis, a Latina woman who seems hell-bent on getting to Esther. For what reason this woman is so hell-bent on getting to Esther, we still don't know, but it seems to have something to do with the Rat Pack. Of course, Ren also has the mission to kill Deja hovering over his head, and a few episodes ago, the crew found out about that mission. So how Ren will proceed with his mission to kill Deja now that the crew knows about it, and what they will do about it, and if they will support it, remains to be seen. And Faye still has the whereabouts of the Rat Pack looming over her head, trying to figure out how to get to the bottom of what is happening in the city, to save the children, and to bring about justice. So, we don't pick up in Sal's silk shop, or rather, we're going to pick up in Sal's silk shop, but we are going to have a montage of Bill and his family. So, Bill, your family is returned to you. Describe for us in a montage kind of scene, what does Bill do with his first week back as a father with a family? And Bill, I'll also remind you mechanically, So what happened was you lost 2 of your mythos themes right then and there to get your family back, and that gave you some build-up points. And I think you had 4 out of 5. But then we met off mic to kind of discuss, how to go with Bill, what themes he would get, and we also decided that your Taken theme that had to do with getting your family back was also resolved. So that theme was lost, and you got your last build-up point, and you are going to spend that build-up point to get rid of Jesse, your nemesis. So kind of going into this montage, being aware of that and kind of narrating how do you get rid of this persistent nemesis of Jesse. And to everybody else, the Bill that you're about to see is very different because he only has one of the themes that he had last episode. He has 2 whole new themes, and then his one theme still left over, all logos, untattooed. But I won't say any more. Bill, take us from Sal's Silk Shop. What happens?
Okay, so the first 2 days, I feel like I'm just like nothing can bring me down. Like nothing matters. I don't care about anything. I'm just happy to be with them. We can't go back to the house, so I'm trying to figure out. I think I kind of have a hard conversation with my wife like immediately, and we check into a hotel like with cash. But then, we go out disguised and go get ice cream or go to the park or go fishing and just do fun things for the first 2 days. And I think after that, I have to like sit down and think about everything else, about the crew, about Jesse, about because I still know the crew just in a different way. And I still know that I killed this person and it still haunts me. And so I'm just like thinking, and I think my wife notices my thinking face, right? And she asks me what's wrong. And I think I reveal to her like what happened, and there's probably like crying involved and a breakdown. And then she helps to build me back up and reassure me and let me know that there's nothing that I could do that would change how she feels about me and like things like that. And that's probably as like a human being, your greatest fear is rejection, or at least Bill's greatest fear is rejection over something that he regrets having done. And so I think that really helped to begin to clear that up. And then in that kind of moment of clarity after that, I realized that I can't lose my family again because of how good of a thing it is for me, even though that seems a little selfish, but wanting to protect them, even for non-altruistic reasons, is good. And so coming to that realization, I realized I don't have the means to protect them. So I start like researching and looking into like buying a gun, like seeing what I can do. And then I realized it would probably be pretty difficult as a wanted felon to go about acquiring a gun easily without having to go through the shady underworld, and I don't want to get caught. So I just want to use people I know. So I think about getting a hold of Javi, but I think he's a little bit removed. And then I decide that I will talk to Woodard and Muhammad because they seem to be able to fight and protect themselves with their hands, and that interested me. So I think that I contact them both, and Muhammad offers to train me in his ways because he's familiar with the martial arts. I leave my wife and son with my burner phone number, and we go and train, and I'm pathetic, and he just like wipes the floor with me, and I think that actually encourages me because it's like, wow, the difference between a trained person and a non-trained person is huge, and so this might be a bigger boon than I thought, and my motivation is, protecting myself and my family, and so I just pour myself into it, and I'm constantly trying to get better, and I'm like overzealous at first, and just he teaches me something and I'm trying it and messing it up and stuff, but he keeps encouraging me because of how focused I am and because of how much I want to learn. And so I think that's going to be like a continuing storyline of training to try to be better. But that is the way that I've like it kind of changed my motivations. Whereas before it was, I have to find my family. I have to get my family back. I have to do this. I miss them so much too. I've been reunited. I treasure them. Like I have to keep them safe at all costs. And now, you know, I'm training my body and mind to protect my family. So I'm learning martial arts. And that's kind of, I think, will be reunited with me in that. That's how going to be my mindset.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, Woodard and Muhammad have done so much pro bono work for down and out people of the community, and more often than not, you know, they don't get paid in money, but they get paid in favors, quiches, casseroles, and one person they helped has this old discarded boxing gym, and so Muhammad takes you to this gym whenever it's time for you to train, and he's pacing you and taking you through some boxing and some Krav Maga and some MMA kind of things that he has learned to defend himself as a crime fighter. So yeah, there's this scene of you and Muhammad and Bill. Kind of describe how you look now.
My main thing would be obviously no tattoos, right? They're just gone. They left with my powers. I think that the answer would be just simpler. You just look simpler. Ironically, though time has passed, I would say I would look younger. Getting full night's sleep and having less stress can do that. My wife made me get a haircut because it was shaggy and unkempt. So yeah. I would say that a simpler look, more clean cut, and also a little more in shape. And I've been training with Muhammad. I'm going to keep training, and he's told me that part of training my body and mind has to do with also diet and maintenance of my body. So I've been trying to really focus on that and hone myself to be a better practicer of martial arts, I guess you could say.
Yeah, definitely. And
what is that noise that keeps...
I think it's Jaime's desk.
Let me know if it happens again so I can figure that out, because if it's coming out in the recording, that's not good.
Yeah. And now, as Jaime has described it, he and his family are staying at this hotel, and I think Bill is getting back from a training session with Muhammad. He opens the door, and we are kind of in a camera, like in the parking lot of this motel. And we see Bill opening the door. We hear a shout of exclamation. We see a small form running and hugging Bill. We see a woman step around the corner. Bill kisses her on the lips, and they walk inside. And the camera kind of pulls away from that scene, and we see the drizzling rain. We see puddles pooling on the ground. We see the flashing neon sign of the motel, and it pulls back a little further, and we see a black SUV sitting in the street looking at this hotel or motel, and we see Esther and Ren and Faye sitting in the SUV watching their friend live his life. And before we get to what conversation is happening in the van, let's cut to how did you three spend this week?
Okay. So in seeing Bill's family reunited, Esther obviously thinks about her own family, and she realizes that's truly the most important thing. Like, as much as she cares about the team, she's kind of just let herself fall to the wayside. And seeing them reunited, she realizes like she wants some answers and closure, because she could just see Bill was lighter. And that's something that deep down she desires that she didn't even realize until this point. And so she has decided to not like forgo the team or anything like that, but she kind of wants to go all in with figuring some things out about her dad and her ring and that situation. She is she's not ready to like go and confront Lena yet because she feels like she still needs to know more because she's going to need to go in and be direct because she's not sure how much time she'll have kind of thing. So she's doing some research, maybe using Ren's computer to like just find information, any news stories that maybe came out around the time that her father and Javi and Lena were doing things with the mafia and stuff like that. So mechanically, I don't know what this needs to look like exactly. And I'm just like, and I'm not looking for like any like, I'm not looking for any like crazy answers or anything like that. I'm basically just wanting to like comb through some archives of news stories and that kind of thing to kind of piece together maybe the time period I need to be looking at, or like kind of see where she left the scene. I don't know, just trying to get like more details.
Okay. So of the montage options, this sounds like explore your mythos. You tell everyone at the table which mystery you explore and how you do it. Which mystery are you exploring for your 2 mythos themes?
I think I am exploring the why did he give this to me?
Okay. So mechanically, you are going to gain 1 clue with a method and a source based on your description, which, using Ren's supercomputer. And you're going to mark attention on your Owl Ring theme. So you gain 1 attention and you gain 1 clue. So, Ren, are you okay with Esther using the supercomputer?
Yes.
Okay. So, asking a favor of the super future computer. So, you follow Ren down this hallway with the hexagonal patterns and the blue LED lighting in the recesses between the hexagons. You enter into a room that is dark and with no corners, but there is a cone of light shining down from an unseen source. Ren leads you into the light. He wakes up the supercomputer. All these holographic screens pop up all around you, and you hear a robotic voice address you.
Greetings. Please register your username.
Esther Black.
Username Esther Black registered.
Well, that was easy.
And what question do you have for the supercomputer?
Like, what is Lena doing now?
So you ask, a holographic screen appears in front of your face, and you see a live feed of the corner of Rook and Bishop Street. It is a kind of rundown part of the city. There's newspaper in the gutters, trash everywhere else. The rain is drizzling as it always is. And you see a middle-aged woman, about the age your father would be if he was still alive, and in fact the age that Javi is. And you see this woman walking down the street in unassuming clothes. Jeans, a shirt, with kind of a shawl kind of thrown around her head, and you see her tapping on the walkway with a cane as she is making her way down the street.
Okay, what is this woman's age?
She's about the age your father would have been, so middle age.
And by middle age, we're saying because you're describing her like an old lady.
Because she's using a cane?
Yes.
As you look,
and she has a shawl thrown around her.
Yeah. She has a shawl thrown around her, and as you're watching, you see her tapping her cane, and it's not as an old person supporting themselves with a cane, it is as a blind person walking down the street. But you see this woman walking down the street, tapping on the cement with her cane, and then you, almost coming from the same point as the camera, you see a flutter of wings, and you see an owl swoop down through the rain, and this woman, blind as she is, with the muffled sound of the rain around her, holds out her arm. The owl alights on it, and you see Lena reach up and take something from the owl, and then the owl flaps its wings once and soars out of view, and Lena walks a few more steps and then up some stone steps to an old building on the corner. She pulls some keys out of her pocket, unlocks the door, and then walks inside and closes the door. And you see a little plaque on the side of the building that reads, Public Library, Rook and Bishop Street.
And do I know if it was like a piece of paper from the owl or a box or
You could not quite tell what it was.
End of episode.
End of episode. Okay. And then as that screen closes, you hear the robotic voice.
User Esther Black, user Ren Pascal has a mission to save the city. Will you assist him in his mission to save the city?
What would it entail?
A holographic screen pops up with the face of Deja.
This user, Deja de la Croix, is a virus whose existence threatens the time data stream. Her actions will bring about a calamitous future and the end of the city as you know it. User Esther Black, will you assist user Ren Pascal in deleting this virus?
I will assist Ren in saving the city.
Input registered.
All the holographic screens go dark. And I think as they go dark, we cut to another person. Ren or Faye?
Okay. So Carrie, Esther was obviously spending a lot of time in there with the supercomputer. Did you stay kind of in and out of there, or like in and out of the warehouse?
Yeah, I assume the warehouse is kind of our base at this point.
Okay, cool. Hey, Ren, do you mind if I kind of take over the part of the top of the warehouse floor, not the supercomputer area, and like set up? I need to put out all of my index cards and stuff. Do you mind?
Well, I could create some boards for you.
Sure, that'd be great. Perfect. Okay, well, I'm gonna just, if you don't mind, just take it over.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, it's blank, so I mean, there's nothing in the warehouse and the supercomputer, and probably needs a little bit of liveliness.
Okay, thanks. Faye is gonna go into the warehouse, and it's still kind of dark and dusty. You see the lights coming in from the like top windows that we discussed, and she has got a map of the city spread out in front of her. She's got her children's stories book open to the Pied Piper page. She's got notes she's taken. She's got a stack of letters that she wrote to Woodard before she met him, with like everything that had been happening. She's got those spread out, and she's compiling all this information, and then she's using the boards that Ren put together to write down. And she's kind of in this like manic isn't the right word, but focused state. And if you kind of look at it as a time lapse, you see like the days turn into nights, and she's still awake, and Woodard brings her tea at times to keep her awake, and she falls asleep on the papers and wakes back up, and we'll watch like Esther and Ren come in and out, and they may contribute at times. But so she's writing down like, okay, Pip, Pied Piper did things for revenge, and led people to water. Okay, they're not in the sewers anymore. Cooper Wheatley, Deacon, wait, no, Linda was trying to get rid of the mob. Why? Okay, the drugs. Do the kids fit into the drugs? Do they help spread the drugs? And so she's writing all this out, constantly talking to herself, and she calls Woodard and has him on speaker. Hey, Woodard.
Yes, Faye, what's going on?
Do you have any updates on Cooper Wheatley?
Yes, we do. Before I go any further, Tessa, which of these options are you doing?
I'm doing work the case,
okay.
And so I am wanting 3 clues.
Mm-hmm. One clue is, what is Cooper Wheatley up to?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that works. Well, we've been following him, and, I mean, he goes to work, he goes to a gym, he goes to a bar, and then he goes home. I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary, really.
It's the same gym and bar?
Yes.
Is he there for any like long amount of time that would be unusual for amount of time to be at either place?
Well, not really. I sent Mohammed in to look at him while he was at the gym, and I mean, he was working out.
Okay, so he's not using it as a front.
Not that we can tell.
Anything else you've noticed? Anything weird, unusual, or different about him? Have you seen him transform?
No, we haven't seen him transform. He seems quite fixated on his new job at City Hall. I knew in the past he, had some nefarious dealings and things like that, especially in regards to the Mafia, but I don't know. It seems that is behind him now.
Alright, thank you. I've got to get back to work.
Okay, Mushu or orange chicken?
Orange chicken.
Sounds great. I'll bring it by later.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, and then the other 2 clues, I'm curious if you're willing to do this, but do these clues work kind of like investigate where I can ask you to give?
Yes, so there is an optional rule with clues, and we haven't really ever used it. In the past, I said that, I could give you a clue or something like that, but that's not really how it works. But a reverse clue is you spend a clue to introduce a object or something like that. So, for example, you're investigating somebody, and you use one of your clues to say, they left behind a matchbox that has a clue on it. And I say, interesting, the matchbox has the logo of a nearby jazz club that is kind of seedy in its dealings. And that would be kind of like what a reverse clue is. So you can either spin clues to ask me questions about the scene, or you can use reverse clues to introduce something that I then tie into the investigation, or you bank your clues until later, and you're like, yes, I know this thing about this thing, and I ask my question now.
Okay. I want to use one of my clues to introduce that somehow, some way, I still have something of the Rat Pack, whether that be like a note or like a Rubik's Cube or like a journal or something of theirs.
So something that those 3 kids that were in the apartment next to you, or something that they left behind?
Yes.
Okay. And what would the point of that be?
So I want to be flipping, if it's a journal, like flipping through it or re-looking at something like that and see something I hadn't seen before, or it spark something I hadn't thought of before.
Yeah, okay. So you have, as you're kind of like throwing all your note cards out and things like that, you are reaching into your pockets, pulling out different things, and you pull out a rewards card for a burger joint. It had a few punches in it. This belonged to X-Man, and it was this joint that he said that the Rat Pack would go eat at. They would always go there. They would always eat there. Still kept it after the spell over him was broken. But you have that clue. Yes, Big Belly Burger.
Okay, and so Faye is that's gonna come to her. She's gonna look at the map and circle that. I assume that card has which Big Belly Burger it is. So she's gonna circle that one on the map. For the 3rd clue, does she see anything near the map or near Big Belly Burger on the map that would in the past there's been sewers? Is there a river nearby? Is there a specific park nearby?
Definitely, you can very easily pick out different sewer access points around this Big Belly Burger. As you're kind of triangulating the positions and using what you remember, you kind of track where y'all entered these sewers so long ago, and you kind of track yourself and the nexus that they are all in. Where they had Wonderland. Yes, Wonderland was the name of it. Is in that area. It's not like it's right beneath Big Belly Burger, but it is like Big Belly Burger touches the corner of it, or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so you see Faye working out all of this. And internally, Faye is, though she has a very comfortable home that also has all of this, she's chosen to be at the warehouse so that she's still around the crew. She's trying to kind of calm down and be part of the team again. But she's still feeling this sense of urgency and we've got to be moving quicker and saving these kids, and she hasn't addressed the kids in a while. And so it's still this like uncomfortableness of, however Ren and Esther feel, but as they're walking in and out of the warehouse, like Faye is fully immersed and may wave to them, and Woodard is dropping off food, but they're not spending time together. She's trying to be part of the team, but is so focused.
Mm-hmm. Good. I like it. And as Woodard is walking in and setting down your orange chicken in front of you, the orange chicken container is in front of the camera, and the camera pulls away from the container to reveal so many to-go boxes of Chinese food, and sitting in the middle of them is Ren. Ren, what have you done for this past week?
So this past week, you see him like tinkering with his several tools in front of him, and he's just got computer or laptop parts like laid out across the floor, and he like touches like some of the parts of his laptop, and they like shine bright, and it's kind of like this like spiderweb effect, and it connects to all parts of the laptop, and then that's where it's almost like for Ren, it's almost like breathing at this point. It's just like it feels so natural as he's like moving and putting the laptop together. You kind of see him like put the final pieces in, and he's like, you know what? Instead of having the boring keyboard that I did last time, I think this time let's do something different. And so you see him like put in this like new keyboard that's like kind of allows the blue glow to like shine brighter. You like see him take a sigh of exhaustion, but at the same time relief that he's like finally finished. And he clicks the power button, and it kind of like whirs together, and you see this bright blue glow from the screen. And
okay.
The computer turns on.
Sweet. So you make yourself a nice pimped out new laptop. And if I'm correct, I think you are preparing for your next activity and recovering your burnt power tags.
Yes, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
I was, recovering from my last activity. Or I mean, preparing for the next activity or whatever.
Yeah. It is weird that preparing for your next activity is recovering the burnt power tags that you burnt previously.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But anyways, you unburn your high-tech laptop, and now you got a new one. As the blue light of the keyboards is glowing, the camera goes into that blue light, and it's pulling away from the blue light of a car radio. And we see Esther's hand reach over quickly and tap the power button to turn whatever music Ren had used his technokinesis to put on. But we transition to the car, or the SUV rather, with Esther, Faye, and Ren sitting in the SUV, the rain drizzling all around them, and Bill with Sheila and Billy in the motel across the street. It has been a week. You have done your own separate investigations. How much interaction you have had during that week is up to you. But Bill has been spending time with his family, which of course, you want to allow him to do, but there's still a great mission that you'll need to accomplish. What conversation is happening in the SUV?
So guys, how are we gonna... I know that we've been watching Bill for a little bit, and there's like all this chaos going on in the world, in the city. Are we gonna be able to get back to that? Bill's not... Well, he's not Bill anymore.
You mean, are we gonna be able to bring him back in to be a part of the team?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was thinking is, are we gonna... Well, I don't know, he's not like us anymore. I don't know how to phrase it, but he's like like, I don't know, a normal citizen of the city.
Right. He still knows things. I mean, he's still a part of the team. What his role is now is the question.
So, I mean, do we know if he knows? I mean, obviously he knows who we are in the person sense, but does he know who we are?
Well, we can either ask him or we can ask Muhammad, because we know, if we've been watching him, we know he's been training with Muhammad.
This comes as a slight shock to Faye, because she had not paid attention to Woodard all week. I knew that.
You've been a little tuned into other things, which is fine. But yes, he's been training with Muhammad.
Wait, he's been training with Muhammad? What does that mean?
Well, you know, like when you go to a gym and you work out and you have somebody that helps you work out. It's like that.
I didn't realize people did that at a gym.
I mean, you don't go to a gym.
I thought they just lift weights and groaned and made weird noises.
Okay. That's not the kind of gym that I go to.
And drop heavy weights.
Okay, so I know we're trying to be very respectful of his time with his family and not traumatize him, I assume, or his child. Do we reach out? Do we tell him to come back?
Psst, Bill. Come on back now, bro.
You've had a week.
Okay, now that you're reunited with your family.
You had a week of vacation with your family.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Vacation.
Time's up.
Time's up.
I need a quarantine for another 2 weeks.
Right, yeah, we've got to give him 2 weeks. His family saw us at Sal's silk shop, right? So they know us, but they don't know us.
So, if it would help with y'all's decision making, Bill is thoroughly enjoying his time with his family, but Bill is also aware that he is still wanted, and he would be enjoying his time with his family much more if he weren't wanted and they didn't have to stay in a motel and things could return to normal. So, I think it would be appropriate for y'all to come talk to me and kind of help me to like get back on track for those kinds of reasons.
I was just trying to decide if we needed to talk to you as like a pizza delivery person or if I could just come knock on your door as Esther.
I have an idea.
Okay. She's going to deliver English pizza.
It's all covered in pineapples.
No.
There's extra pineapple and extra sauce. No cheese.
And tea leaves.
Gross.
Okay. Moving on. So we're all sitting in the SUV discussing it, and Faye opens up the group text message, and because of her time in office, she got very good at writing very politically correct emails. And so she sends in the text, "Hi Bill, just bumping this to the top of your inbox. Would love to hear from you. Thanks, the crew."
Okay. And the camera transitions inside the motel. Bill, what are you doing when you get this text?
I am squatting in horse stance and trying to concentrate on a central point on the wall to walk forward to and away from, like Woodard told me I needed to for balance reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear, I guess, zzz, zzz, and I like look over, but then I just look back at the wall and keep going because it's a training session, man. I can't just let outer things distract me.
Mm-hmm. And I think Billy is jumping up and down on one of the beds, saying, "Dad, can we have ice cream before bed again tonight?"
And I was just gonna say, hold on, Billy, not right at this moment.
At this point, Ren sends a gif of a sad puppy dog.
Oh my gosh! So it's like,
Yeah, like literally every 30 seconds, there's like a GIF of something. There's like a minion, and there's like the sad dog, and then there's like the cat where it's just like pawing in the air. And
All right.
Please note that in real life, this is how we get a hold of Jaime.
It's true. I do the tropey thing where I just like see it keep happening and try to like just keep staring at the wall and ignore it and like close my eyes and like breathe. And then it's like voot, 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 and Billy's like like jumping, and then like I hear something like cabinets closing in the background, like my wife like doing stuff, and I'm just like, okay, all right, Billy, go eat as much ice cream as you want. Let's okay. And then I like open my phone. I'm like, what in the world? What is stop sending this. Stop. And I just like turn my phone off and I walk outside.
No.
And I say, I'll be right back. And I walk outside and I point at my phone and I say, stop.
he's still sending gifts.
Oh my God. I walk up to the SUV. Do you roll the window down?
Yeah, I roll the window fully down.
What do you want? I'm training. I'm trying to concentrate and can't do that with the million cartoon faces.
We've missed you. We would like to talk.
Okay. Like here, right now?
I mean, you can get in the SUV if you like. We can drive around, see the stars, get some ice cream.
All right, let me go tell the family real quick. So I just run back inside, tell my wife I'll be right back, go out, and get in the SUV.
Hello friends, and welcome to episode 71 of Mistconceptions. I'm your host, David White. And did I just say episode 71? Golly, we have been making this show for a while. We've been making this show for a hot second, and we thank you for sticking with us through it. And just a little bit of housekeeping before we get back to the show. As you know, we do have a Patreon, and this show is fully funded by our Patreon. And recently we had a $400 a month goal that would allow us to pay our performers. But one of our top tier patrons de-pledged, leaving us way below our $400 a month goal. Thankfully, we have gotten a little bit closer to our $400 a month goal, but if you like this show and you do not currently support us, please go ahead, go over to our Patreon, click the link in the show notes below, and pledge whatever amount you can so that we can get back to that $400 a month goal, and so we can afford to pay our performers for the awesome job they do on this show. I highly suggest the $5 a month goal because, you know, it's affordable, it's not going to break the bank, and it's going to get you access to an extra show that is just for our patrons, our Misconceptions side quests. Of course, you also get access to all this uncut audio, the raw recordings from our sessions. But, you know, the side quest is pretty sweet. It has me and, any other combination of people playing other games besides City of Mist, besides D&D. We have a rotation of GMs and players. It's a lot of fun. And our most recent side quest episode features Fear Itself, the RPG created by Pale Grain Press. So if you are a horror aficionado, you might want to check that out. And, well, you know what? How about I just show you a clip from our most recent episode of that side quest?
As you're looking at this, thinking about it, you blink, and as you do, it disappears. And then the way the light is reflecting, this horrible lighting in this office is reflecting off of it, suddenly that figure that was small and in the photo is not so small. He's in fact right behind you. He has the exact same expression he did in the photo, but then it turns into a grin. And this all happens in the matter of seconds. It all happens so quick that you're barely able to register it. What do?
I drop the painting and I swing around and take a swing at this guy. just reflexively.
Oh no!
You swing and hit nothing. There's nothing behind you.
Did anyone else see anything?
No, you just see... You just see Ashton swinging on nothing.
If you want to hear more of the Fear Itself side quest and all of our other side quests that have been released and will be released, why don't you go ahead, click the link below, give at least $5 on our Patreon, and you will be able to listen to that amazing show. And speaking of amazing and our Patreon, how about I give a shout out to our amazing patrons? First up, Sam Scott. Sam Scott, I think I've said your name before. In fact, I know I have. Sam, thank you for increasing the level of your pledge to help us get back to that $400 a month goal. We really, really appreciate it, and we hope that you appreciate your new access to our after hours and side quest shows. And I also want to give a shout out to Ryan Bruin. Ryan, I hope that I'm saying your last name right. Bruin. You know what? It's probably Bruin, isn't it? Ryan Bruin. That sounds right. That sounds like a normal name. I don't know why I always try to make people's names so exotic. I'm like that Key and Peele skit with the substitute teacher in the inner city school. But anyways, Ryan Bruin, thank you so much for your $10 a month. You know, now I'm wondering, is it Bruin? Is it Bruin? I don't know, Ryan. I'll just call you Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much for giving to us, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name. And I know I haven't said this in a while, but if you listen to us on iTunes, please consider leaving a rating and review on iTunes. It really helps us out. It shows people up front how others like the show and what they like about it. And it is also a nice little mood booster for me to go on iTunes and see new reviews from new people who like our show. So if you would like to help us out in a non-monetary way, consider leaving us a rating and review on iTunes. And if you do that, and if you screenshot or copy your review and send it to us at our email, misconceptionspod@gmail.com, with your address, you will receive a free Misconception sticker. So if you would like a Misconception sticker to slap on your laptop, your book, your face, leave us a rating and review on iTunes, copy it, put it in that email, and send it our way, and we will send that your way. And that's it for the housekeeping. Let's get back to the episode.
So Bill's in the car. You're all together for the first time in a week.
I think there is an awkward silence for a good bit.
Insert cricket sound.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I driving?
Well, we need to get ice cream first. I'm starving.
I'm not really feeling ice cream. I've had too much in the past week. And so what's going on? Any leads in taking down this corrupt government, this weird shadow organization? We figured out what's going on.
What do you remember about us?
I remember everything. I don't know what you're talking about. We're a group of friends who got framed, and we're trying to solve who did it, and got involved with the mafia and some shady Illuminati-like people. That's a very odd question.
what do you remember about the island that you lived on for a time? Faye glances at Esther.
Kind of an odd society of mute people, you know. They're very expressive. I never got around to learning sign language, but they were a nice bunch.
What do these people look like to you, Bill?
People?
They didn't look like anything you've seen from like sci-fi shows, kind of, I don't know, like an adjective like monstrous or strange looking.
You know, Ren, just because the girls don't suit your fancy doesn't mean they're monsters.
I am offended, but I'm going to move on from that comment.
I mean, they're just they're people, different.
Okay. And she sits there frustrated and staring at Bill.
Can I describe to them and to the listeners what Bill's memories have become of the crew?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because of this distortion?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start with Faye. Bill's recollection are that Faye is a little bit odd and maybe has imaginary plant friends, but is really good at gardening and is constantly like almost like a how do you say, like a giddy, like mad, like not witch, because that's the wrong way to describe it, but like you're always like experimenting with your plants.
Herbologist, botanist.
Yeah, like a herbologist or botanist. Sorry, because I was just thinking of like potions and stuff. So like always like doing interesting, creative things. And so sometimes when we've won in fights and you've like used like spores or something, I would picture you like throwing down a bottle and something exploding. And I also think that you're like really proficient with whips to like wrap around people's legs and pull them and stuff. So you're this like weird combination of some Western like badass herbologist, crazy plant lady.
Your Indiana Jones meets the botanist from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been my recollection. So that's why I'm just like, I just go along with it. That's what I do.
No, that's perfect.
And then Rin is an IT specialist and guru and cosplay extraordinaire. So I've thought that it's odd that he likes solving crimes in his cosplay attire of a cyborg, but he's really into it, and I don't want to break that for him. So I just want to, yes, you're a cyborg, super cool, glowing brain. To me, though, so like for him, it's obviously actually implanted in his skull. For me, though, it looks like you can see like the outline of where it's like setting on top of his head. That's how I like reconciled. He's like a tech wizard, so he set up these cool LEDs and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's really cool. It's really nice. But he still would be able to do most of the stuff that he does in like the real world. So, and then, I mean, Esther doesn't really look too different from me because besides the new like winged Artemis thing, and I don't know how I would be able to reconcile that besides maybe just like blocking it out, like it just didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. What if she's like hang gliding or not hang gliding?
I did think about that, like has like a little paraglider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, paraglider. That's
yeah.
The thing.
So those are
yeah.
My representation. So I guess for Esther's like latest transformation, it would be that she worked with like Rin and Faye to have this armor and jetpack kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
But before, Esther is just a normal person with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That you didn't want
and
to
an
mess
attitude.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's here to chew bubblegum and kick butt, and she's all out of bubblegum.
Feels like you're just friends with like the loser crew, all the weird.
Well, think about it.
Right.
Think about it.
Your loony friends.
You're not like, otherwise you're these super awesome, super power having people, but if I don't believe that that's true and I can't see it, then how do I reconcile that?
Yeah.
No. I mean,
And so the
it's
mist
so
makes
true.
you look like it.
We're just all these weirdos that you're friends with.
So what keeps you with us at this point?
I'm a weirdo too. I mean, I'm not this tattoo wielding cool guy. I'm just like this run-of-the-mill guy who needed help getting his family back and who got tangled up and found some like-minded individuals who liked investigating. So that's what brought us together, I think.
Yeah.
And then hardships kept us and grew us closer.
Yeah. So as y'all are all sitting in this car together, what do y'all do?
Hey, Bill, do you remember using a fancy computer recently?
Yes.
Do you remember anything about the computer having a mission for Ren?
Yeah, I may have clicked on that file.
I mean, you didn't necessarily click on it. Well, I know what it is. Like you just like hear Ren like mumbling to himself. He's like,
I was gonna say, are you saying this out loud?
yeah, he's saying this out loud, but he's like talking to himself lowly, and he's like, well, I mean, she's like super smart and like an AI, so.
So what are your thoughts on that, Bill? What do you think that means?
I was just really concentrated on getting my family back.
I did some research on the computer too, and the computer I also got information about Ren's mission, and it seems like we may be locked into working together on that now.
Yeah. That person doesn't seem that harmful. Yeah. But we've thought that about other people, I guess. So.
Does Faye have any questions at this point because now Esther's mentioning that she had the same thing mentioned to her?
I think because Faye was in the warehouse, it's not shocking to her that you would know, like, have it mentioned to you as well, because she knew you went down to the supercomputer. But just to narratively throw something in, I don't love the idea of killing anyone, and we've certainly all had to kill people we didn't want to. Well, maybe not all. Anyways, but it seems like this is something that is the only way.
It's the only, like, clear information we have about something that's going to affect the future.
Yes.
But how do we know that she's truly going to affect the future, or the supercomputer has a particular future that it wants to reach, and that means killing her?
Right.
Like, how trustworthy is this computer, Ren?
Well, I mean, it is a computer from the future.
Do I hear that?
I mean, you hear him say that, but you're like, I mean, that's a little bit of bragging, Ren. I don't know if I would say it's a future computer. It's a nice computer. It's not a magic
It is
computer.
a computer from the future, and I mean, I would assume that the goal is the least amount of harm for the entire world.
Quickly, just David, for your understanding, is Ren saying something like it's a computer from the future and just like blatantly speaking about kind of mythos related stuff? Does that begin to crack my view of things, or does the mist muffle it out and make me hear something different?
I think the mist muffles it out as long as you deny that there's anything past the mist. So as long as Bill is denying the mythical nature of the city, the mist will blur it out. Or, whenever Bill takes active action to act in a mythical way, or like to not to combat a mythical force, because you're going to fight things that are mythical, but maybe you just see their expression as mundane and collateral damage instead of like a fire blast coming out of their mouth or something like that. So whenever Bill takes action to pursue the mist, to see past the mist, or acknowledges that maybe the city is not what it seems, that is when the mist starts to fade away from your vision. So him saying, I have a future computer, you can either say Bill acknowledges that and it starts to chip away at his mist obliviousness, or you can say, not really a future computer, just a nice computer, and continue to deny the mist.
I think for now, denying makes sense.
Okay.
And I want to add into the conversation, one thing I did notice about the way the file read, which was a little odd, it said an end to the city as we know it. So, like, that's, I don't want to say ambiguous, but it's an odd way to phrase things. It didn't say, the city will be destroyed. It said, an end to the city as we know it. So we're going to have, like, new government, or...
Right.
I don't know.
And it's not like we like the city as we know it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, is this a bad future necessarily?
Right. Or a future that just the supercomputer
Doesn't like.
Right.
Or is the supercomputer seeking a certain future, and that future means that Deja dies?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I feel like the supercomputer maybe is trying to do the best future. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Deja gets involved with the Mafia, or is involved with Pip Hamill, or I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I figured if the supercomputer gave me these cybernetic enhancements, that surely it was for something, for the greater good, I guess. I guess it doesn't make sense to me if a supercomputer can be evil. I figured that they're so smart that and the way that they work, that they're just trying to benefit society as a whole.
Can a computer have morals?
Cue apocalypse movies with robots.
Yeah, the whole thing is that they don't have empathy normally. Yeah. So what is that called? The greatest good for the greatest number of people?
It's a philosophical thing that I cannot recall at this current moment.
Utilitarianism?
Yes.
Or something.
I think it's utilitarianism.
So, we've got to wrap up this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because I'm starving. Okay, so either we need to go investigate Deja. I have another thread that I'd love to work on about the kids, or we need to go kill her.
I think investigating Deja makes the most sense to me, just because I don't know that I'm okay with killing people anymore.
Well, and I don't want to kill without answers.
Agreed. Just thought I'd throw it into the mix.
Yeah.
And I kind of like her. I don't really want to kill her just yet.
Just yet.
Yeah, your first crush, Linda, did turn out to be pretty bad, and
maybe the fact that Ren has a crush on her is a sign.
Well, it is a sign.
I don't want to think that all the people that I've crushed on turn out to be evil geniuses and try to destroy the city. I like to say that Linda was a fluke.
You're right, Ren.
Oh, dang.
And so as y'all are driving off into the night.
Into the unknown. I'm sorry you walked into it.
End of episode.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Mistconceptions. We'll be back with our next episode on August 3rd. If you have a Facebook or a Twitter, you can find us on both of those social media platforms. You can give us a like or a follow to get up-to-date information, behind-the-scenes pictures and videos, and funny gifts from us who love you. You can also contact us at misconceptionspod@gmail.com if you would like to contact us that way. And you may also join our Discord to talk to myself and the rest of the crew directly. All you need to do is click the link in the show notes below. This show is wholly supported by the generous monthly donations of our patrons on Patreon. If you would like to join that elite group of backers to support us financially, please click on the link below. City of Mist is an RPG created by Son of Oak. You can find more of their products at sonofoak.com. The Misconceptions theme music is composed by Aaron Wharton. You can find more of his music at aaronwharton.net. And that is it for this week's episode of Misconceptions. I hope y'all had a fun time. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep it nerdy, y'all.